Hi there, I'm digital artist Aaron Rutten, and in this video we'll take a look at how to draw using the iPad. So I have an iPad version 2 and I'm using this Adonit Jot Pro stylus, and I recommend using a stylus because it'll make it a lot easier to draw. You can use your finger, but you're only going to get so far doing that. They have some really cheapo styluses out there with the little rubber tips. Those aren't very good. They won't last you very long, so I recommend getting something like this Jot Pro here, which works really well. It's very durable, and it's got this nice tip that you can see through. It's very precise. And as far as software, there are two programs that I recommend. The first is ArtRage, and the second is Procreate. We'll take a look at Procreate here. This is just a kind of a face I doodled while I was riding the bus here in Seattle, and just kind of sketched and went at it. We'll go back to ArtRage here and we can take a look at some stuff I made in ArtRage, and then we'll take a look at how to draw with the iPad. Sometimes I use this for notes. Here's a kind of a rough doodle of my friend's dog while we were at the park. The cool thing is you can take this out with you and you can do drawings out on the spot. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate ArtRage here. So with ArtRage open, go to New Painting, and then here you pick your canvas size. We'll just go ahead and stick with these settings here. And then you can go ahead and paint. Down here at the bottom left, there is a little button you can hit to select which kind of tool you want. So they have all these different types of media here. You have your oil paint, your watercolor, airbrush, palette knife, blender, eraser, paint bucket, and so on. Some of these are kind of useful and some of them aren't. I tend to use the oils more than anything. On the bottom right here, you can tap this little wedge and you get your color picker, and you can drag your finger to pick any kind of color you want. You can go along the hue ring here. Let's go with this nice blue. And you can change the way that the brushes perform by clicking on this configure menu down here at the bottom. And you can pick from brush presets with the button that's next to it. So let's go ahead and just pick a preset, that's easier. Let's go with Everlasting Oil, and let's try doing some painting. So I'm just going to tap on this brush to make this go away, and tap on the color to make that go away so that I can just start painting. And if you want to change your brush size, you can drag up and down with 3 fingers. I have 3 fingers here on the tablet now, and I'm dragging up and down, and you can see that I can resize my brush. So I'm going to do that, resize my brush, and paint away. If you want to zoom in and zoom out in ArtRage, you just pinch with your fingers, and you can zoom in and zoom out. And now zoomed in, we can really see this nice paint texture that ArtRage gives us. And I don't exactly know what I'm trying to paint here. I'm just kind of laying down some color. Now this attempts to kind of work like an oil brush would, where if you paint, you kind of run out of paint until you pick your brush up again. So then it starts to blend. So you have to kind of keep picking up your brush as you lay these strokes down. And if we wanted to blend this, we could change our tool. Let's go to this Pallet Knife tool, and that has a bunch of blenders. We can take a look at the presets and see. Let's use this Harsh Chaos blender. Let's make our brush bigger. You can see that we can blend. Now, it starts to get a little slow when you use big brushes on the iPad 2. I imagine it's probably not so bad on the iPad 3 and later iPads, but on my iPad 2 it really starts to slow down when I use big brushes, so I have to paint kind of slowly, but that's okay. So that's ArtRage. I'm not going to go into too much detail about how to use ArtRage in this video. I just want to do an overview. So let's go back to Procreate and let's take a look at the speed difference here, because Procreate works a little bit faster. It doesn't have all that nice 3D paint texture, but it's definitely a lot more snappy. So I'm going to work on this piece here and just create a new layer. Let's give this guy a mustache, because he really looks like he needs one here. Just going to pick a brush, and you resize your brush with these little sliders on the right here. You can change the opacity with the lower one. Let's go with something like this. And then maybe that's too thick of a stash. Let's go down a little bit thinner. And the same way as you do in ArtRage, you can pinch to zoom in. You can give a mustache. Now if you want to see how fast you can draw compared to the other program I was using, I'll just give you a demo of that. So this is a big brush. You can see it works much faster. Almost as fast as I'm drawing compared to ArtRage. If I try to draw that fast in ArtRage, it's quite a bit slower. And the brush doesn't even get nearly as big. So if you're going for speed, you probably want to use Procreate. If you're going for something that looks a little more painterly and more realistic, you're going to want to use ArtRage. Now, there are other programs out there. In my opinion, Autodesk Sketchbook is junk. Don't buy that. Their brushes are no good. There's no blenders. It's a waste of money. These two programs are the best two programs, in my opinion. So that's what I would recommend getting. And you can move artwork back and forth between the two. One of the benefits is that if you're working with ArtRage, you can export the file to your PC or to your Mac, and you can use ArtRage on your desktop to further edit the file. But you can still edit Procreate files also. You can export as a PSD and then load it through iTunes onto your computer and make changes with Photoshop or Corel Painter or anything else. So that's how you can get started painting on iPad. You can get Procreate and ArtRage from the iTunes store, and you can pick up one of these styluses from Adonit's website. If you found this information helpful, take a quick second to share this video and like it on YouTube, and that'll make it easier for other artists out there to find this information. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for my next video.